Again, Bill Yancey will present Jimmy's plaque.
I'd just like to echo what everyone has said. What a first-class banquet this has been. Thank you to the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame and to the selection committee. This is indeed an honor and quite a surprise, but an honor, and I cherish this moment. Two things. One, when we got here, Dr. Ferguson said, well, we're going in alphabetical order, so I'm sorry to say, but you'll be last. Well, I'm used to that with the last name of Doug here. Ken Tyler, where are you? Is this kind of how you feel on Sunday morning in the pulpit when you know you're the only thing keeping people from going home? Thank you so much, and congratulations to the other inductees as well. This is an outstanding group of people, and it's a very humbling experience. PJ Harris called me to let me know about my selection, and after the shock wore off, I started thinking about things, and I started thinking really back to when it all began. You saw in the video, my folks didn't really want me to play football until I was in high school, particularly my mother. So we had some discussions about that, and a mother won out from the discussion. I won't say argument, but discussion. So imagine a mother winning out. But I started thinking back when I first started, those first days of practice. I'd never played any organized football. They told me I was going to get to hold blocking dummies. Well, I was excited. I thought that was probably a privilege to do that. Little did I know what that involved, holding blocking dummies. Usually meant for me, at about probably 155 pounds, somebody getting about a 7 or 8 yard start, a full head of steam coming around the end, a pulling guard or pulling tackle that was twice my size, and just wiping me out with a blocking dummy. And then the coaches patting those guys on the back saying, good job, and me getting up thinking, I'm supposed to like this. I don't know about this. But we went on, and later in the year, we were practicing for a game. I don't know the opponent we were playing, but I'd been promoted to the scout team. Those of you that aren't familiar with that terminology, the scout team usually is made up of people guys that play very little or none at all. And the coaches scout out the opponent for the week. They have plays diagrammed that the scout team runs to give the offense or defense kind of an indication of what might they expect. I know many of you knew and loved Coach John Allen, and knew him better than me, but he was on that staff that first year when I played ball. And I love Coach Allen. He was so good to me as far as helping me get started and all. But we were running scout team. This particular day, Coach Allen called me. He said, Jimmy, come here. I want you to go in at quarterback. Now, me, a quarterback on the scout team. He had the play designed, had it drawn out. The tight end was supposed to go down about 7 or 8 yards, just do a simple hook pattern, we call it, turn around. I was supposed to take the snap, drop back, and throw in the ball. I got to the line of scrimmage, and the defensive linemen looked like, every one of them looked like Andre the Giant to me. And but I tried not to show it. I took the ball, I dropped back. I couldn't see over them, I couldn't see around them, but I knew where the tight end was supposed to be. And I threw the ball in that general direction. And I called out the tight end's name. I called him by name and started yelling at him to turn around. And we got finished with the play. Of course, big pile up. I was at the bottom of it. It kind of knocked me silly. I got up and thought for a minute I might be blind, but I realized my helmet was crooked. Got to turn around so I could see out the front. And I just heard this laughing behind me. And it was an uncontrollable laugh, and I thought, well, this is not that funny. And I looked around, and it was Coach Allen. And he was back there, bent over double, just about on the ground, laughing at me. And he came up and slapped me on the backside and said, Jimmy, I've never heard anybody, a quarterback, call out a receiver's name and yell at him to turn around. So I think that was the day I decided I wasn't a quarterback, and I think that's the day they decided that I wasn't a quarterback as well. But I thought about all of that, and I transitioned on to the difference between that and Miami when I got down there. And we went through fall practice. We went through 3-a-days down there instead of 2-a-days. We started early and we finished late. But Coach Kersey, Frank Kersey, was the head coach that year, and he was a big believer and a stickler for being in shape. And I can't tell you how many 3-hour practices we had, and back in those days, some of you folks know, some of you guys maybe had one water break in a 3-hour practice. And we'd get finished with that, and then we'd do 30-yard sprints every day. So he wanted us in shape. But it turned out to be a blessing for us. You saw in the video, they mentioned the Florida State game. We played all of our home games in the old historic Orange Bowl, which really was an exciting thing for me with the history of that place. And the Miami Dolphins were a new team in those days, and the Orange Bowl had put AstroTurf, or some type of artificial turf in. And if you know anything about the early AstroTurf, it really basically was concrete with carpet over it, no padding at all. And the coaches really worked hard trying to get us in shape and get us ready for that game, because it had been moved from a night game to an afternoon game because of TV. And we got down that day. All week long they were working on some different things, equipment-wise, to try to help us stay cool. We got in there and you could just see the heat coming up off the surface, playing surface. And it ended up reported in the press that it was 118 degrees on the field that day. So without a doubt, the harshest conditions I'd ever seen in a football game. Most of us lost a lot of water with sweat, and back then we didn't do IVs to rehydrate or anything like that. I think I lost 13 to 14 pounds during the ball game. But I say all that to say, and I think Shannon put it best with his quote about a self-made man. I think back of all the people, in that case, trainers, medical staff, coaches, that go and do their best to prepare you for success. And that's their goal. They want you to be successful. And I also include teammates, and I have some of my former teammates here tonight, and I appreciate them so much for being here. But in practice, we compete against each other. We have to do our best to strive to be as good as we can and to be able to play the game. But coaches are that way as well. And Coach John Allen I mentioned, but every other coach that I had through all levels of football, everything they wanted was our best. So, and the best for us. So I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me stand up here. This is indeed an honor, and it's a very humbling experience to be in such a crowd of outstanding athletes that have been here before me. But I will say this, my name may be on the plaque over here, but I certainly think about every one of the teammates that I've had that have pushed me to strive to be a better person and better player, and all of the coaches that I've had too. And I thank you very much.